Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors. This week is a special week because it's Eating Disorder Awareness Week. So I'm going to continue with the theme of eating disorder awareness and talk a little bit about breaking the silence, what that means, how we can do that, and why it's so important. Eating disorders kill. They hurt. They cause problems. They rip people apart. They destroy. People shouldn't be ashamed to have an eating disorder. It's a mental health issue. It's a disease. It's an illness. It's something that we don't choose. And there are any number of people out there who are desperately trying to recover from an eating disorder, whether that eating disorder is anorexia, bulimia, eating disorder not otherwise specified, which is widely common and doesn't have enough voice in itself, binge eating disorder, or some other kind of eating disorder. So many people that struggle with eating disorder not otherwise specified feel like they don't have a real eating disorder, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. I actually did a graduate paper about eating disorder not otherwise specified because when I was going through the DSM and I knew I wanted to write about eating disorders, I decided that EDNOS is something that just gets brushed under the rug, just gets passed off. People think it's not as serious as anorexia, not as serious as bulimia, and it makes me really mad because what that does is it keeps people who have a real issue from feeling validated, and it keeps them from getting the help that they need, because even professionals out there don't think that it's as serious. So there aren't enough resources, there aren't enough treatment options. People have to jump through hoops to get the help that they need if they have EDNOS. Well, the title of my paper was actually Eating Disorder Not Otherwise Specified, a Serious Diagnosis, and it is. Far too often in our society, anorexia nervosa and bulimia nervosa are considered the serious eating disorders, indicating that other eating disorder diagnosis is somehow less severe, less frightening, or less demanding of treatment. This may be perpetuated in part by the DSM-4, which lists very rigid criteria for both anorexia and bulimia. Individuals who fall short of even one criterion are considered to have EDNOS, eating disorder not otherwise specified. The result of the specific criteria for anorexia and bulimia is that most people suffering from eating disorders are actually diagnosed with EDNOS. Rather than lump a majority of mental health population into an NOS category, it may be more beneficial and accurate to amend the criteria for the better-known eating disorders, anorexia and bulimia. A diagnosis of EDNOS is less important than the collection of symptoms and behaviors exhibited by the patients themselves, and that unlike certain other diagnostic categories, an eating disorder of any kind is still an eating disorder and warrants extensive treatment. Another really important role for mental health professionals is assuring patients that they are worthy and in need of help, despite their less recognized EDNOS diagnosis. I couldn't be more passionate about this. It's something that I hear about a lot doing the work that I do, and people write to me a lot, people who have eating disorder not otherwise specified, or who know someone who have eating disorder not otherwise specified. And even people out there who are diagnosed with anorexia or bulimia or binge eating disorder, they understand and they know that often, as someone recovers from anorexia or bulimia or binge eating disorder, they may not be fully recovered yet, but they cease to have all of the criterion for one of those three diagnoses. Therefore, they fall into EDNOS, and they lose the support, they lose the treatment, they lose the validation that they had before, and they're dropped like a hot coal, and that doesn't serve the purpose. That doesn't help them get better. A lot of people, as they are on their quest to get well, on their journey of recovery, they become EDNOS. And I really hate labels and diagnoses in general because I don't think people are their eating disorders. I don't think people are their mental health conditions. People don't walk around talking about the fact that they are cancer, because they're not. So we shouldn't walk around saying we are anorexic, we are bulimic. You're a person. Maybe you have anorexia, maybe you have EDNOS, but you're a person, and whatever you're labeled, whatever you're diagnosed with, that's secondary to you. I did a lot of research when I was writing my paper on EDNOS, and when I did that last year, I gathered a lot of statistics, and I found out that most of the people in inpatient treatment centers, not just in the United States, but in most countries where eating disorders are treated, the eating disorder most represented by the people in treatment is EDNOS. Most of the patients in inpatient treatment don't have anorexia. Most of them don't have bulimia. They have EDNOS. I think something that people forget a lot of the time is that many serious eating disorder signs and symptoms are characteristic of anorexia nervosa or bulimia nervosa, but are serious in and of themselves without the diagnostic label of anorexia or bulimia. So if someone has EDNOS and they exhibit a lot of signs and symptoms of one or both of those disorders, but they don't meet all of the criteria, it doesn't mean they don't have something serious going on. I could talk about this topic for a long time, but today, during Eating Disorder Awareness Week, I wanted to break the silence and give voice to all of you who have been diagnosed with EDNOS to let you know that you're worthy of help, you're worthy of support, you're worthy of treatment. Your eating disorder is real, and it is serious. It's not something to play around with, and you shouldn't feel second best or like you don't deserve the help that people with different eating disorders may deserve. I'm never going to be silent about eating disorders in general, and I'll definitely never be silent about recovery. I hope you all have a wonderful week out there, and I will see you next time.